Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my Week 2 recaps with the week that was in the NFC South. I'll be looking ahead to Week 3 a little bit later, but certainly an eventful Week 2 here in the NFC South. We'll start with the game between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the New Orleans Saints, a game that the Saints would win 16-14 on a last-second Garrett Hartley field goal to win it. And, the Buccaneers went ahead in this game after Mason Foster intercepted a Drew Brees pass and returned to 85 yards for a touchdown. They went up 14-13 right around the 14-minute mark of the fourth quarter. But again, they're not able to put the Saints away. 14-13 was a score. Garrett Hartley's field goal wins it. And, first with the Buccaneers, they're just, in my belief, they're in shambles right now. I don't think they believe in their head coach. And as I said in the preview, I don't think they believe in their head coach or their quarterback. And it's a huge problem. Josh Freeman didn't do anything to help it in this game. He completed 9 passes for under 200 yards, made some costly mistakes. Certainly, you see this team just with the worst penalties at the worst time. I mean, Freeman finally looks good completing a 75-yard touchdown to Vincent Jackson, and they get an illegal procedure call for a right tackle lining up too far off of the line of scrimmage. I mean, just unexplainable stuff happening to the Buccaneers here as this looks like their team chemistry and the belief in their coach sort of crumbles around them. At least they were able to establish Doug Martin a little bit, going over 140 yards. Their defense was still solid, I thought, against the running attack, certainly of the Saints. When you face Drew Brees in that secondary for the Buccaneers, Brees is going to probably go over 300 yards, but they were able to force 2 interceptions against the big play by Foster. But again, this team just, much like in the Jet game, just sort of finds ways to make bonehead plays down the stretch here to lead to that Saints field goal. And you wonder what the future is for Greg Schiano. You wonder what the future is, obviously, the more immediate future for Josh Freeman. Again, there's something missing with him. I don't know if his mind is out of it because of what's been going on behind the scenes with him missing team photos, with the whole controversy with him not being a captain. Is all this stuff finally weighing on them? And I think it's pretty safe to say Greg Schiano has or is pretty close to losing that locker room with that college rah-rah stuff that goes either way in the NFL. You see it work for Jim Harbaugh in San Francisco, obviously not working for Greg Schiano down in Tampa. Now, both these teams have big games next week. Obviously, Tampa's put themselves in a must-win situation next week. And, the Saints now looking to really make a statement. 2 division wins, 2-0, look to go to 3-0 next week and really get off rolling here, with an improved defense and obviously the steady as they go Drew Brees at quarterback. And, the Rob Ryan and that defense is really the story. I think we all expected this out of the Saints offense, but you saw the Saints offense not clicking on all cylinders, and they still won. And I think that's what we're looking to see, if that was a possibility after how bad their defense was last year. And I think the sky's the limit for this team if this defense can keep up, certainly the way they're playing after the first 2 games here of the season, both division games. Moving on in the NFC South here, let's go to the Falcons. The Falcons got out early, jumped all over the Rams, held on for the win. Osi Umenyiora, you saw him with a interception return for a touchdown on a Sam Bradford pass. You saw Julio Jones have a monster game after it was questionable whether he'd even play or not. The Steven Jackson injury, we'll have to wait to see how that sort of pans itself out here, how serious that injury is. I'm sure we'll find out in the coming days. They have a very big game next week against the Dolphins at Miami, a 2-0 team. They go down and play Miami as an underdog, an early line underdog. The Falcons are in that game. I think the Falcons have to shore up the pass rush. Yeah, I know, Matt Ryan only got sacked twice in the game against the Rams, but they were all over him all game. That offensive line has to improve from a pass blocking and from a run blocking perspective. I'm sure all the Falcons fans want to see Steven Jackson have sort of a breakout game as a Falcon, of course, if he's healthy, to get the running game going, and of course to protect Matt Ryan. Let's face it, the Falcons' most valuable asset, and we'll look to see if Roddy White is back in Week 3 as well. Sort of concluding the NFC South recap here, the Carolina Panthers. Look, same old story for the Panthers. I mean, they go into the fourth quarter with a lead and lose. I mean, I think that's happened 6 or 7 times in the last 2 seasons now under Ron Rivera. And I'm not saying it's Ron Rivera's fault. What I'm saying is they have to figure out a way to win these close games. I mean, it's got to be excruciating. They had that Luke Kuechly penalty while the Bills were driving there, and that's sort of like a microcosm, right? The last guy you expect to get a penalty or make a bonehead play does it. The Bills take advantage and win the game. I thought Carolina got a little bit conservative when they got the lead on offense in this game. They were throwing the ball down the field early, put some points on the board. I thought they got conservative late, and I thought it really hurt them. We'll see if they come out more sort of guns ablaze in their next game, which will be a home game against the Giants. Again, two 0-2 teams squaring off in that game. Big game for both teams. But again, I think the defense for Carolina will be okay. I worry a little bit about their back end, but I really like their front seven. Can that offense develop any kind of consistency? Can they stick to a game plan and carry out that game plan and really develop, a whole 60 minutes with that offense playing at a high level and throwing the ball down the field? Let Cam Newton get in space and run. I think that's their offense. I hate to see it held back like I think it has been the first 2 weeks. Let me know what you guys thought of the week that was in the NFC South. Hit me up in the YouTube comments. Of course, subscribe, guys, to my channel. I preview every game every week. I do recaps like this every week. So be sure to subscribe. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.